After being comprehensively beaten in the opening two test matches versus England, New Zealand finally managed to make their way back into the series, but then it was only enough for them to seal a consolatory victory at Seddon Park in Hamilton. It was courtesy Mitchell Santner's 4-wicket haul and Kane Williamson's 150 odd that New Zealand crushed England by 423 runs in the third and final match of the series to give Tim Southee a winning farewell from cricket's long format. Here's a look at some of the most interesting numbers and stats that were created and broken as far as records are concerned in the third test between New Zealand and England. Well, 423. This was New Zealand's victory margin against England here in the third test. New Zealand's joint best ever victory margin in Test cricket. They had won by the same margin against Sri Lanka in a test in Christchurch in 2018, and here now in 2024 against England, they have equaled their best record as far as the victory margin is concerned. Well, this is also New Zealand's way of continuing their unbeaten streak at Seddon Park in Hamilton in cricket's long format. The last time they lost a test at Seddon Park was in 2012 against South Africa, and ever since then they have played a total of 10 matches at the venue, winning a total of 8, and the 8th win was today against England, and 2 have been draws. So in a way, that's actually become a fortress for New Zealand as far as Seddon Park is concerned. Also, the 423 run loss for England, they have basically now suffered a new low in Test cricket, because England have become the first team to suffer 2 400 plus losses in a calendar year in Test cricket. The first one they suffered was against India at Rajkot, which was a 434 run loss, and that took place in February 2024, and they even went on to lose that series 4-1 after winning the first test in Hyderabad. And here now at Seddon Park, they have suffered a 423 run loss, and they have succumbed to a new low in cricket's longest format. Well, moving on, Joe Root continues to climb up the ladder as far as the runs are concerned, centuries, and even the records for that matter. Be it India, New Zealand, or any other country, he loves playing against them, except Australia. In Australia, for that matter, he has a good record but doesn't really have a century there. But moving on, coming back to this point, he now has a total of 1925 runs against New Zealand, and he has gone past Javed Miandad. Well, before Joe Root, Javed Miandad had the most number of runs by a player or a batter against New Zealand, irrespective of the conditions, that were 1-9 and 1-9. But now England's Joe Root has went past the Pakistani batter, and he now has a total of 1925 runs, which is the most by any batter against New Zealand in Test cricket. And finally, Joe Root has also went past the 1000 run mark as far as the runs against New Zealand team is concerned. Well, it's the first by a visiting batter to go past the 1000 run mark against New Zealand in Test cricket. Before him, it was Javed Miandad who held this record, who had a total of 928 runs. But now Joe Root, with a couple of good knocks in this series, he has went past him. Well, obviously there were some interesting records that were created and broken, but then as far as the WTC chances of both England and New Zealand are concerned, well, both are eliminated from the competition. New Zealand, after winning the inaugural WTC cycle, well, they haven't really done well in the next two editions, and England have literally turned out to be the perennial underachievers as far as the WTC is concerned. Stay tuned to Sports Today as we'll bring you all the latest updates and analysis from the sporting world. Until then, on behalf of my producer Pawan, it's Siddharth Gulati saying goodbye.